The NFL did a raid on Big Ten assistant coaches, and all I can say is I hope it's over. Time will tell, but so far in 2026, we've seen a wave of talented assistants jump ship from the Big Ten to the Pro League, the NFL, obviously, where everybody's trying to get, no, not everybody, but a lot of coaches, a lot of players trying to get to. It's a testament to the quality of coaching in the Big Ten, but it also leaves some programs scrambling to fill some voids. We're talking about 7 key departures. Esposito from Michigan, Miles Taylor from Nebraska, Noah Pauley from Penn State, Chandler Whitmer from Indiana, Mike Bajakian, I think is how you pronounce it. I apologize if that's wrong, from Michigan State, Bobby April III from Minnesota, and finally, yes, Eric Henderson, the guy right next to me from USC. But not all losses are created equal. Some sting more than others, depending on the coach's impact, the program's depth, and how quickly they can rebound from the situation. So in this video, I'm going to rank these losses from least impactful to most impactful. That's from number 7 down to number 1. We'll break down who they are, where they're going, and why this departure hurts or doesn't hurt their former team. Starting at number 7, the least impactful loss in my books. Indiana fans, that's right. Chandler Whitmer, who was the co-offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Indiana, now heading to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as their new quarterback coach. And you might be saying, JR, dude, he just coached the guy that won the Heisman. Like, how is this not impactful? How is this not a loss for Indiana? You know, he did a great job this season. Look, Whitmer is arguably one of the most talented coaches on this entire list. He's got a sharp mind for the game, very little experience, though, developing quarterbacks. It was actually his first quarterback coaching job, but he created a Heisman winner in his very first year. I mean, that's pretty good odds there, right? You could say that, and people will be very impressed there for a while. But here's why. But here's why this ranks as the least impactful loss, in my opinion. Indiana's quarterback room is in very solid hands, even without him. They've already brought in Tino Sunseri, who was excellent for them 2 years ago. Sure, last year at UCLA wasn't Sunseri's best, but under Cignetti's system, the Hoosiers have consistently produced strong quarterback play, regardless of who's calling the shots in that room. And of course, in that room, Tino Sunseri going to have the best hair of anybody in that room. I'm really sad we didn't get to see Bob Chesney and Tino Sunseri on the sideline together. Would have been a great hair sideline for sure. Cignetti has a proven track record. I mean, you look at his time at James Madison or even his earlier stops, Elon, IUP, all these different places. His offenses hum because of his overarching philosophy and how he is able to build up and develop his quarterbacks. It's not just one assistant. Whitmer's departure might cause a brief hiccup in continuity a little bit, but it's not like Indiana is losing their offensive identity by any means. Fans might miss him some but with Sunseri stepping in seamlessly, this feels more like a lateral move for the program than a devastating blow. Plus, the NFL gig is so huge. It's such a huge step up for Whitmer. Personally, I mean, congratulations to the guy. You earned it. Great job. He's going to the NFL, where he came from anyway. Overall, Indiana fans, you can rest, breathe easy. This isn't a rebuild. This isn't a reload. Impact level, this is pretty low. The Hoosiers will be just fine come this fall. Moving up the ladder now to number 6, Mike Bajakian, I think that's how you pronounce it, the former quarterbacks coach at Michigan State, who's now with the Cleveland Browns in the same role. Mike brought in a wealth of experience to East Lansing, having worked under a lot of different coaches, and now he's there with Pat Fitzgerald. He was with Pat Fitzgerald at Northwestern. Now he's here with him, or he was here with him again at Michigan State. His resume includes stints in the NFL, in college. That said, Spartan fans weren't exactly throwing parades when he was hired. He has a lot of stops, but it doesn't mean every single stop was uber successful. There was some skepticism about whether he was the splashy addition the program needed. after kind of a turbulent offseason, firing the coach, bringing in the new head coach. And honestly, losing him isn't the end of the world. Michigan State moved quickly to hire John McNulty as his replacement. And it seems like head coach Pat Fitzgerald, he had a contingency plan ready here. The quick pivot suggests they weren't caught off guard, and McNulty brings his own pedigree that could even be an upgrade in some eyes. And number 5, we have Bobby April III, who served as the rush ends coach at Minnesota and is now the outside linebackers coach for the Buffalo Bills. April comes from a coaching family. His dad was a special teams guru in the NFL, spent some time in college as well. He's built a reputation for developing edge rushers with technique and relentlessness. At Minnesota, he didn't contribute much as he was only there for about a month. I think he got hired in January. Now he's gone in February. This one could arguably tie with the next one on this list for low impact, but I slotted this here less impact because PJ Fleck, he's really good at assembling his staff. He does a great job making savvy hires, kind of being able to plug holes and bring guys in. It's a culture that a lot of guys work well under. So April's departure, it's fresh, similar to others. He hadn't been there long enough to become irreplaceable. So it's number 5 for me. And like I said, number 4 is not all that far away either. Miles Taylor, the safety coach who just arrived at Nebraska in January, only to be snatched up by the Baltimore Ravens as their assistant defensive backs coach. Taylor's background is impressive. He got NFL ties and a knack for teaching coverage skills, anticipation, and tackling in space. Nebraska had a good amount of excitement, as they should, with a guy like Miles Taylor, but timing is everything here. Taylor had barely unpacked his bag before heading off to the pros, just like April and some other guys as well. But with so little time invested, this loss isn't that much. So we'll see how Matt Rule decides to replace him and how that all goes. But I'm pretty confident they'll be able to find somebody else to replace him, and we'll see who that is eventually. Climbing to number 3, Lou Esposito, Michigan's defensive line coach, now with the Baltimore Ravens in the same position. Esposito did stellar work 2 years ago, molding that ferocious front following Michigan's national championship run. He had guys like Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant that thrived under his guidance, benefiting from his emphasis on technique, strength, and gap discipline. However, some argue that he inherited an already loaded room. The talent was already there when he arrived. And so last year, you look at the production and what it was, and it held steady. It was fine. It wasn't anything, amazing. But last year, the production just kind of was there. It held steady. It honestly got worse, but you didn't have 2 first rounders on your offensive line anymore. So it wasn't the same. It was more about consistency, had some injuries, some scheme tweaks, different stuff like that. Keeping him would have been ideal for continuity. And I do think Esposito is a good defensive line coach, especially with Michigan's defensive identity, but not for a catastrophic loss. Kyle Whittingham has options, and the Wolverines number and the Wolverines recruiting pipeline ensures the defensive line. It's going to be fine. It's going to remain elite. They got other guys in that room. I think they'll be good this year. Number 2, we got 2 guys left. Number 2, I'm going to go with Eric Henderson, USC's defensive line coach, who is heading to the Washington Commanders as defensive line coach and defensive run game coordinator. Henderson was a fan favorite in Los Angeles, widely praised for his turning around the Trojans' front. Under Lincoln Riley, he brought intensity. He had innovation and did a great job in recruiting as well. A lot of people love the recruiting idea and how good of a recruiter he was and everything. Now, there were rumors of his departure swirling for the last week or two, so it wasn't, a total shock. It wasn't a total shock, but that being said, his energy and results made him a staple. Patterson likely had a solid replacement lined up and everything, but losing a widely liked coach stings in the team morale and recruiting a little bit, possibly. We'll see how it goes there, but Anderson's job with the D-line was strong, addressing past weaknesses. And then finally, the number 1 most missed one. Sorry, Penn State fans. That's right. The most impactful loss is Noah Pauley, Penn State's wide receiver coach who came over with Matt Campbell there to Penn State. Now, with the Green Bay Packers in the same role, Penn State has been desperate for some elite wide receiver production for years. Really, ever since Jahan Dotson, it's not been great. Pauley was getting ready to change that with his track record of development. He has always been able to turn raw talent into polished receivers, playmakers. Losing him hurts deeply because Matt Campbell's offense does crave a lot of explosiveness. You need wide receivers to be able to get down the field and get those guys and have good route running, all that stuff. Sure, whoever steps in, I'm sure they'll be competent. Matt Campbell's good at hiring dudes. I'm sure they'll be fine, but Pauley's excellence was hard won. This could set back the Nittany Lions passing game just a little bit this season, just as they're kind of trying to push for the playoffs with a more favorable schedule this year. There you have it, folks. The Big Ten's 2026 NFL coaching exodus, ranked from least to most impactful. These moves highlight, the conference has a big talent pool, a lot of guys in it, but it's also a challenge because you got to hold on to these guys too. So what do you think? Drop your takes in the comments and let me know who you'll be missing, if there's anybody that was here that was on your team